A lot of hail reports today, as Glenn just showed you. Here are some pictures. This is from the Redding area. Take a look at this. The back windshield of the car completely busted. We've seen golf ball sized hail, very large areas of hail, indicating very strong thunderstorms. Let's take a look at the radar, though, because we do have the storms to track for you. Locally, we are seeing storms move through parts of Chester County, moving towards Delaware County. This one is right over Pikeland. It's traveling to the southeast around 35 miles an hour, so Woodcrest by about 411, Edgemont 419, Lima by about 423, and Village Green by about 430. This one could very well skim the Philadelphia area too. Now, this storm has had a history of producing hail, so let's take a 3D look at this storm. It's right over Pikeland, right over the major interstates. It's going up to about 40,000 feet. That's when we cut the 3D scan here in half. You can see all the lightning with this storm. This is a very high top thunderstorm, and that's why we're seeing so much hail out of this storm. This is the exact storm that's actually producing golf ball size hail right now. Also through the Lehigh Valley, around the Allentown area, moving into Holland and parts of Bucks County. This is one very strong storm too. You can see all the lightning in this one, and this one's continuing to travel to the southeast. Also a new one that is moving into parts of Berks County near Maiden Creek right now. This one's mostly traveling south. It will be near Redding by about 4:30, Flying Hills by about 4:36. So again, these storms are very strong at this hour. They'll continue to move through, and we don't expect them to lose strength either. So again, for the rest of this evening, keep in mind that we will continue to see very strong storms moving through. They have a history of producing hail. Also lots of lightning, heavy rain, and winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. Those are damaging winds too. So coming up, we'll continue tracking these storms for you, and we'll take a look, of course, at your Memorial Day weekend forecast.
We'll check back with you, Sheena. Thank you. 20 minutes of nonstop news continues with two breaking stories this afternoon. We begin.
Plenty of people will be hitting the road this Memorial Day weekend. We can count on that, right?
That's for sure. Well, the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission, they can count on it. They're expecting heavy traffic. Officials estimate 2 million vehicles will use the PA Turnpike over the 4-day holiday. It's one of the heaviest traveled holidays of the year for the Turnpike maintenance work. Stopped at 3 p.m. today to make, well, driving easier and just in time, as it turns out, for the holiday. The Peter J. Camiel Service Plaza in Chester County is reopening. Good timing.
If you're driving to the Jersey Shore tomorrow evening, you may just get a break on your toll. Officials say drivers heading eastbound through the Egg Harbor Toll Plaza between 5 and 6 tomorrow evening, they don't have to pay the $3 fee. Drivers can thank the sports bar Chicky and Pete's for sponsoring this toll-free event. The cost of tolls for that 1 hour is expected to be $13,000. Here's a live look right now outside at the Schuylkill Expressway. Busy rush hour getting started here with people really eager to get home and just maybe get an early start to the holiday weekend. NBC 10's Brittany Shipp is watching for any trouble spots.
So how does the rush hour look right now, Brittany?
Well, I've actually found a few trouble spots for you. So if you're lucky enough to take off a little bit early from Philadelphia and head down to the shore, we are monitoring the situation for you. So we do want to start off with our first camera, and that's the I-95. So I'll head out of the way. This is I-95 right at Castor Avenue, and that's just south of the Betsy Ross Bridge. We're basically dealing with an accident off camera, but you can see we are dealing with a backup there, so you're definitely going to be delayed if you're heading that way. Also, we'll take you now to the 202 and the I-76, where this disabled truck is holding up traffic as well. One more for you. This is the Atlantic City Expressway, where we are also seeing, or actually that is Route 100 at Ship Road, and you can see those isolated downpours are making the roads wet out there. So again, you are going to have to slow down if you are traveling in that particular area. Also the Atlantic City Expressway, smooth sailing. So if you are able to get an early start, you are going to find nice conditions right along the expressway. I'll be monitoring all of these major thoroughfares for you, and I'll keep you updated on what you can expect as you head out a little bit early for this Memorial Day weekend.
Getting ready for the Memorial Day weekend at the Jersey Shore. We drove up and down the coast today, checking to see if the shore is ready. NBC 10 Jersey Shore Bureau reporter Ted Greenberg live right now in Stone Harbor, where they are getting things started a little early this year. Ted?
Yeah, that's right, Renee. You know, a lot of Jersey Shore communities kick off Memorial Day weekend tomorrow, but Stone Harbor is getting a jump start on the celebration by doing it a day early. And just check out how many people are already here. The fog has rolled in, but so have all of these people. They're going to be having a beach opening ceremony this evening here on the 95th Street Beach to welcome a new summer season at the shore. A special sand sculpture has been crafted. Check it out right there. It's right there on the beach to mark the occasion. Local leaders drivers are calling the early Memorial Day weekend celebration their biggest ever in honor of a special anniversary.
We have a centennial celebration going on in Stone Harbor, a year full of events, including Jersey Shore Pops concerts that'll be free in July and August. So really everything in Stone Harbor, I think, is amped up to the next level because it is a centennial year.
And we also checked out how some other Jersey Shore communities are racing against the clock to get their beaches and equipment ready for the big holiday weekend. You'll see that coming up at 5 and 6, along with more of the celebration here in Stone Harbor. That's where we're live tonight. I'm Ted Greenberg, NBC 10 News.
And speaking of celebrations, today marks 50 years of trips between Cape May and Lewis, Delaware. The ferry is celebrating a half-century of summer service, as well as the birthday of its ship, the MV Delaware. It's been hauling cars and people back and forth the Delaware Bay for 40 years now. And check out this live picture of Penn's Landing, because this weekend it's the place to be. Saturday is Delaware River Maritime Day at the Great Plaza. And on Sunday, you can look for the return of Jam on the River. The day-long music festival is back after a 6-year hiatus.
For a complete county-by-county list of what's happening on Memorial Day, log on to NBC10.com.
Now, your NBC 10 First Alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz.
Well, we've got some pictures of hail. This is in Berks County from just within the past hour, and that's the main problem with these storms. They are producing large hail up to 1 inch in diameter, and sometimes hail that big can cause some damage. We have the latest severe thunderstorm warning that actually goes into the Philadelphia area, expected to hit Philadelphia International Airport around 4:45, Chester around 4:40. And you can see that we don't have a lot of storms, but all the energy is concentrated into those very few storms that are out there. And this is one, again, that has produced hail. It's got a lot of lightning with it and tremendously heavy rains. And as we zoom in here, there's Berwyn, Edgemont. We're going into Delaware County now, crossing the Chester County border. And some of this rain is extremely heavy, as you can see. There's Paoli just on the edge of it, and the heaviest rain down at Sugartown Road. You can see Edgemont. Media just now getting into some of the heavy rain, but it's going to get even heavier. At Chester Heights, you can see some of that purple. That's about to come in. You're about to get blasted with the heaviest rain and probably some hail when you see that purple. This is moving to the southeast to get into Upper Pittsgrove around 4:54, and yet there's another storm in Berks County moving to the southeast right toward Chester County again. So the same counties are getting hit over and over. 4:52 in Downingtown with that one, for example. Now, the entire area is under a severe thunderstorm watch. These areas in orange are warnings, again, that now go into part of Philadelphia and even into Camden County. Another one just grazes southern Newcastle County, and there's that other one in Berks County. So the storms moving to the southeast, the same areas keep getting hit. So future weather computers showing us by 6 o'clock we still have some very heavy storms in the area, but watch how quickly it either moves out or dies out. And so the conditions are going to improve dramatically once we get past 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. And you can see by tomorrow morning, we're left with dry conditions. But it's not going to stay dry. Our future weather computer showing us tomorrow afternoon, we'll start to get some showers coming down from the north. Nothing like what we're getting this afternoon. Not expected severe weather tomorrow. Then on Saturday, we start off dry and we get another round of showers coming down from the north, as you can see here. So we're at least starting off the holiday weekend with some afternoon showers. So evening thunderstorms, some severe, 59 degrees for the low in Philadelphia. The main threat, large hail with these particular storms. Windy and cooler tomorrow with scattered afternoon showers, high temperatures in the low 70s. And as you can see, we have those showers in the forecast for the next couple of days. That includes the shore. Most of the shower activity Friday, some into Saturday afternoon, but it gets better for Sunday and Monday. And on Saturday, we still have those afternoon showers. in the Philadelphia area, even more likely in the Poconos. They're going to get the showers tomorrow afternoon as well, and then Sunday and Monday. Great improvements there, but look at the temperature in the Philadelphia area, up near 80 on Sunday, 84 for Memorial Day. That looks like the best day, and we've been saying that all week, and then it gets even warmer Tuesday.
I'm Doug Schimel in Wind Gap, Northampton County, where one of those severe cells just passed over us. Not long ago, we were pelted with about half-inch size hail. Many of those storms have moved south into Lehigh County. We'll have more on weather situation up here coming up in just a few minutes. It got so bad she had to put up a sign on her restaurant after people started arriving with bogus internet coupons she never authorized. I'm Doug Schimel. That story coming up.
A warning heading into grilling season.
It's definitely something I don't wish upon anyone. It's really painful and uncomfortable.
The health risk you might miss after cleaning the grill. Plus the push to protect pets from the weather.
NBC 10 First Alert Weather breaking news.
This is hail coming down. As you watch this via the Reading Eagle, we are monitoring social media where these videos as well as photos are coming into us. As Glenn just told us, first time we've ever heard of PennDOT possibly deploying plows to clean up some of this hail. And we're also getting reports of some damage to car windshields, that kind of thing. Here's a photograph from Wissinoming, a person holding a piece of that hail. Looks like about golf ball size hail in their hand. So you need to be careful out there because this stuff is moving through right now.
Not only is it moving through, look at the damage here into this back of this car window here, completely broken out, we imagine, by golf size hail. We saw just a picture of that a few minutes ago in Berks County, and there's the radar showing us where this storm is right now moving through our area. So let's get the latest on it from NBC 10 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz.
Well, I'll tell you, this is extremely unusual for this part of the country. We've seen big hailstorms in Denver. They had to plow the snow there just a couple of days ago. It was up nearly a foot deep. But to have to plow hail in this part of the country is extremely rare. Now, we also have a tornado warning just issued. Sheena just gave this to me in northeastern Kent County, in northeast Maryland, northwestern Kent County and central Delaware, and northeastern Queen Anne County and northeast Maryland. This is moving southeast at 30 miles an hour. This is a radar indication. They're seeing the storm itself spinning, and so it's possible that a tornado would form out of this. It's headed toward Clayton around 4:50 and Cheswold around 5 o'clock. Now, this is the storm itself, and you can see in eastern Maryland, there's Dover, there's Smyrna, a lot of lightning here, and of course, very heavy rain. This is moving toward the southeast, and you can see how quickly it's moving. This is just a very short time lapse. And that red area that you see underneath the storm, that's the area of the tornado warning itself. This includes Kenton and Hartley in Delaware. This is central Delaware. This is Kent County. This is the storm in Maryland, centered in Maryland, and some of this is coming across the border into Kent County, Delaware, and that's why the tornado warning is in effect. Now, we've had a history of very large hail with these storms. The tornado warning goes until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Extremely large hail for this part of the country, not only the size, but the volume that it has produced enough hail to coat the ground and accumulate a little bit. And this southern storm moving to the southeast at 35 miles an hour, 441 at Hartley, 501 at Camden. This is not Camden, New Jersey here, and 508 in Felton. Now, these are isolated storms. There's only about a handful of them, so a lot of folks are not even getting rained on this afternoon, but all the energy can go into these individual storms like this, and you can see the way they're scattered themselves. You can call those supercells. Each storm is a storm into itself, and it brings in the air from the surrounding areas, and it's not competing with other storms, let's say, that are in a line that you would get during the springtime. And this is the time of year where we would get, historically, the most likely severe weather in our part of the country. But it's very unusual to get such large hail. Now we have this one cell in Lancaster County that looks like it's going to graze perhaps the Oxford area in Chester County, and that's going to go into Delaware as well. You can see these orange areas are severe thunderstorm warnings. That includes parts of Bucks County, parts of Montgomery County, Chester, Delaware County, South Philly, into Camden County. All of those places under severe thunderstorm warnings where you can assume that there's going to be, aside from the lightning, hail. Some of it on the large size. Generally, hail in this part of the country is pea-sized or nickel-sized. But to get it golf ball size or even a little bit bigger, and the volume of that hail, again, is extremely unusual, and that is enough to cause damage to cars. Breaking windows, especially the back windshields, that tends to happen, and even providing dents in the cars themselves. So if you're in the path of one of these storms, if you have a chance to put it into the garage, I would suggest that. We'll have more on the tracking of these storms coming up in just a few minutes.
Glenn, you mentioned the formation of this hail being so unusual in this part of the country. How does such large hail form in this kind of situation? Why does it get so big?
Well, we must have tremendous updrafts in that storm. What we do is we take the raindrops and they keep bouncing into other raindrops, and then the updraft takes it into enough cold air to freeze. Then it starts coming down, and then the updraft gets it again, puts it back up, and more accumulates on it. So the more it goes up and down, the larger that hailstone can become. And eventually, the sheer weight of the thing will get it to come down to the ground and hit. Now, there's a difference between hail and sleet. Sleet is what falls in the wintertime generally. Those are ice pellets, and those are just frozen raindrops. They can only be small. Hail can be different sizes. Usually in this part of the country, again, it's relatively small. It's very rare to see hail break windshields around here. This hail, over 2 inches in diameter, detected by our radar here in southern Berks County, and that is right now. So there's another storm capable of producing that. That was the one that came down through Chester County. You see one after another doing this.
All right, we're going to check back with you. Keep us posted, Glenn, on the very latest of what you're seeing. But for right now, we want to go to Ron Young with PennDOT.
All right, Ron, you know, you heard our chief meteorologist talk about this is the first time in 18 years he's seen a situation where the hail is the size where it has to be plowed away. What is the situation with PennDOT right now? What can you tell us?
Well, the worst hit area, it was in the Berks County Reading area, and we do have plow trucks out on Route 222 in that area. Basically, in the Route 183, the Broadcasting Road is the general area. We had areas that had 3 to 4 inches of accumulated hail on the roadway, so we are treating that as quickly as possible, and we want motorists to, of course, stay home if they can or stay wherever they are until it gets cleared up. If they are out, to please drive according to conditions and use extra caution.
Ron, have you gotten any word of any problems out on the road in terms of accidents? We're looking at pictures here with the hail the size of golf balls and the damage that it's done to the backs of windshields. We're also, in addition to that, we're tracking what it appears to be over in Delaware, a situation of tornadoes.
We haven't had any reports of any major crashes in the region, but we have other reports of some roads that have downed trees or power lines. So we do want people to be alert. If they come across those areas, to please just turn around. Don't try to continue down that roadway, especially if it's a power line. You don't know if it's live or not. And also if any roads are flooded, because other parts of our region had heavy flooding. So some roads may be closed due to flooding. So it's just general bad travel for the
Ron,
rush hour this afternoon.
we're going to keep checking back with you. This situation is changing by the moment. I just mentioned tornadoes. Our Sheena Parveen is tracking that situation for us in Delaware. Sheena.
Yeah, Renee, we're talking about a tornado warning in Kent County, I should say, in Delaware, just south of Newcastle County. Here's a look at the radar. You can see a classic hook shape here. So if you look at this hook shape right on the border of Maryland and Delaware, this is where we're actually seeing it at the moment. So right around here, moving towards Hartley in Kent County. So if I zoom in on this storm for you, you can start to see some of the streets showing up. So right where we see the hook, lots of lightning in this area, some very heavy rain, some extremely strong winds. This is a tornado warning through the area. So Kenton is included in this. You see Chapel Road here in parts of Kent County as well, again near Hartley, so right on the border of Delaware and Maryland. Hourglass Road, Ford's Crossing, I believe, or I should say some of the other roads around here, Bryan's Corner Road. Now, if you're familiar with any of these roads in the area in parts of Kent County, this is the section we are watching. So again, right where you see this hook shape, there is a lot of lightning here. So as we keep on zooming in, this is the area where we're going to see some of the strongest winds. Now, again, it's on the border of Maryland and Delaware, so we're going to watch this Ford's Corner Road, Downs Chapel Road. If any of these sound familiar to you and you're in this area, this is where you really want to seek shelter. Get into your basement if you have a basement. If you don't have a basement, get into an interior hallway or closet somewhere without windows. So again, this is a tornado warning moving into Kent County. It is just to the east or west of Smyrna, so just barely to the west of that. Again, Hartley is in the direct path of this. It's been a radar indicated tornado. Take a look at some of the hail. This shows us the hail here. If I query the hail for you, it's a little over half of an inch of hail per, or this is actually the rainfall, half an inch of rainfall per hour. But as far as the hail is concerned, we're seeing some very strong hail in this system, about golf ball size hail, almost 1.5 inches of hail. So we are seeing very strong conditions in this actual storm. It is again, tornado warning through Kent County, and we're going to keep watching this as we go through the next 30 minutes or so. Tornado warnings typically don't last long, but I'm going to loop this over the past 3 hours. You can see it's really developed quickly as we've gone past the last 30 minutes or so. The storm has moved in. It's developed a lot of rotation, and that's what we're continuing to see across the area. A lot of lightning still developing in this storm moving into Kent County, but the hook shape is there. That's the shape you notice just to the north of Sudlersville. It's kind of a hook shape you see on the radar. This is what we're really looking at. So that is the section where we're really starting to see the rotation. And in this storm, again, we're going to continue watch it to move into Kent County. So if you are in this area in Delaware, you really want to be careful. Go into a basement. Again, if you have a basement, it is nearing Hartley, I should say. So this is one area we're certainly watching. Take a look at the cross section of this storm. This is the area where we do have the tornado warning. It is a very tall storm. So in these cases, we do expect hail. We expect very damaging winds. And again, this is the section where we do have the tornado warning. This is an extremely strong thunderstorm. That's why there's a warning out. This does mean that we could be seeing a tornado on the ground. We have not had any reports yet of a tornado on the ground, but it is moving into Kent County. It's until 5 p.m. That's when the warning is going to expire. But either way, we're going to continue watching this. It will be near actually moving past Millington. That's what's going on right now. So we're going to keep watching this for you guys.
Sheena, we'll keep this radar up right now because it's live and it's happening right now. You said this is a fast-moving storm, right? This warning's up till 5 o'clock. You also said this is a tall storm. So what does that mean exactly?
Well, the taller the storm, the colder the top of the storm is. When the top of the storm is very cold, we tend to have a better chance of producing hail. So in this case, this storm is about 50,000 feet at some points or even higher. So it does have a history of producing hail, golf ball-sized hail. And because this storm top is so high, it is colder. It's a more intense storm. That's why we're seeing hail, damaging winds, and also a lot of lightning. So again, it is moving into parts of Newcastle County. This is a pretty strong tornado signature on radar if I zoom in here. So the Hartley area, if you are around this area in Kent County, you really want to take cover because this is one tornado warning where we are seeing a lot of rotation higher up in the storm.
Now, Sheena, what you're showing us right now on radar, this is in Kent County, Delaware. We just saw pictures from Berks County in Pennsylvania with the hail. Is this all part of the same system or two different systems operating here?
This is all part of the same cluster of thunderstorms. Now, we have had the same thunderstorm travel through parts of the Lehigh Valley into parts of Delaware, around the Philadelphia area, and they've all had a history of producing hail. So yes, they are the same storms, and some of these have held together for quite a while and even gotten stronger. So this is a storm, again, if you're just tuning in and you're looking at the radar, this is a storm in Kent County in Delaware, which is capable of producing a tornado. So we're definitely keeping our eye on this tornado warning for Kent County in Delaware until 5 p.m. But as of now, it really does look like it has a lot of rotation with this storm.
All right, Sheena, you let us know when we need to get back to you. In the meanwhile, I think we're going to throw it over to Brittany Ship.
Brittany, you're tracking the path of the hail?
That's right, and they're tracking along with these severe thunderstorms. So we're seeing these different pop-up cells. We already got reports out of Reading with hail balls the size of golf balls. So that's very damaging hail. We're also worried about wind speeds upwards of 60 miles per hour. We'll also have to check that. But these are embedded within these severe thunderstorms that continue to track from the northwest. They continue to push to the southeast. So right now we could see a little bit right over here on top of the I-495. So we're going to continue monitoring this situation. But these are the thunderstorms here. You can notice that they're moving out of Allentown. Some are pushing now into Norristown, parts of Philadelphia, and these are right over some of our major interstates. So inside of some of these thunderstorms are hail, and these hail sizes are pretty big. They're very damaging. So here's a closer look at the hail track. You can see they move in the same direction as the severe thunderstorms. So this is another concern for us as we head into today. We already got reports just to the south of Reading. The hail size reported 2.2 inches. So this is something I'm going to be monitoring, how large the hail is, where it's heading next, but it's definitely tracking to the southeast. So this is something that we'll keep a close eye on, as well as the really strong and possibly damaging wind speeds and the tornado warning that is still in effect.
All right, we will be getting back with you as well, Brittany Ship. Thanks for staying on top of the situation.
Yeah, you're in any of these areas, you want to be careful. You want to stay inside. You want to, as Glenn said, if you can, put your car in the garage, whatever you do to seek some shelter and avoid damage from this hail. Let's go back to Glenn with the latest on what he's watching. Glenn?
Yeah, the 2.2 inches, that is a large ball of hail that you'll hardly ever see in this part of the country. And once again, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 storms on the radar. All 5 have severe weather. Each one is a superstorm into itself, and it's not competing with the surrounding area with the other storms. It's all isolated. Now, we also have one in Bucks County right now. This is moving to the southeast. The one that we've been talking about that went through Chester County and Delaware County, that's now crossed the river now into New Jersey, Woolwich Township, about to get the worst of this. They're getting some extremely heavy rain now. And then the lightning strikes. As you can see, that's a live lightning strike as this system handles that. And then the colors get a little darker with the older lightning strikes. So you can tell which strikes are recent, which are old. And so once again, we're going across the Delaware River into East Greenwich, Paulsboro, Gibbstown, Mantua. And these storms moving to the southeast, so this will continue to head down toward the Jersey Shore over the next couple of hours. There's the Atlantic City Expressway, so it's just south of the Atlantic City Expressway and perhaps the Black Horse Pike. And you can see this other storm, the one that with the tornado warning, that looks like it's headed right in the general direction of Dover. And we had another one come through the Reading area. So some of these are going over the same spots. You can see how fast. This is just 1 hour of motion, and that is moving probably 40 miles an hour. So that limits the total amount of rain, but it also increases the threat of damaging winds. This is the cell in Bucks County. Doesn't look quite as powerful as some of the other ones, but there's some really heavy rain coming right down Bucks County and a lot of lightning as well. This is the last one that has come through Reading, and again, Chester County getting blasted by this. Chester Springs is coming right across the Pennsylvania Turnpike right here. That'll be going into Delaware County along with the last two. It's like one after another. The severe thunderstorm watch that covers the entire area, indicating the potential for storms that can become severe. And of course, that has been realized here. And each one of these dots is a report of large hail. And as we go through the next few hours, we'll obviously be getting more reports. But they've been concentrated in Berks County. That's where the worst has occurred.
Glenn, let me ask you a real quick question here. You know, you say for the next few hours. We talked earlier about how people are planning on heading out early for a Memorial Day weekend. It sounds like you're saying people need to sort of stay in place. These storms for the next few hours, you're watching them, is it?
Well, it depends on where you are. Up around the Reading and Allentown areas, we're already getting on the back end of the system. So the weather is going to be improving there quite a bit just in the next hour. But if you're halfway to the shore already, you're going to get hit by one of these storms that are coming by, and you may want to wait as far as getting outside. This is not going to last all night. It's not going to repeat tomorrow. So this is a short-term threat over the next hour or two, especially in the areas where these storms are moving. They're moving toward the southeast. They're moving fast. So that means they're going to move in fast, then they're going to move out fast.
Good time to have the weather app, the NBC 10 weather app, right?
Yeah, because if you look at a radar every 15 minutes in this kind of case, you're going to be way past where this storm is.
And looking at the pictures that we've been showing folks while you've been talking, Glenn, it's clear that if you are in certain parts of these areas, you do need to stay in place because, again, this hail, when you're talking about it being the size of golf balls, it can do a lot of damage.
This
pictures here.
Right here, Renee, from Banjo is from a viewer near Reading in Berks County, and you look there, that's the hail there on the ground in what looks to be either the road or a parking lot, and a car sitting on the side there as this storm moved through. This is what people have been dealing with this afternoon.
Looks like January versus heading into Memorial Day weekend.
It's just wild.
All right, why don't we head back now to Sheena Parveen, who was the one who told us first about these tornadoes that were in parts of Kent County and Delaware. What's the situation right now?
Yeah, that's right, Renee. So we still have a tornado warning in Kent County in Delaware, and this one really doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. At least we still have a pretty good tornado signature on radar. It's a radar indicated tornado. Here's a look at it near Kenton. But if I pause this for you, and here is the actual location of it. If we zoom in, there you can see Hartley is still right in the area. If any of these roads sound familiar to you, Hourglass Road, Ford's Corner Road, if you live in this area, Pearson's Corner Road, again, this is the area where we're seeing some of the strongest rotations. So we are going to be watching this very closely. We have been watching this. It's moving through Hartley, some of the heaviest rain right around Kenton. These are very strong winds. Again, a radar indicated tornado. So we have not yet had any reports of a tornado on the ground. What I'm showing you now is velocity. It shows us where the speed is inside this storm, and it shows us the rotation inside of the storm. Where red meets green, this is actually what we're looking for. So if we actually look at this system, this is where we're starting to see, or continuing to see, I should say, some rotation. This is what we look at to determine where the rotation is inside of a storm. And in this case, we're seeing it still just south of Hartley. So it has moved through this area. We're going to watch it very carefully for you. It is the tornado warning if you've just tuned in parts of Kent County in Delaware. This is a look at the 3D scan of this storm. It is a very high storm. It is containing quite a bit of hail. It's had a history of producing hail. So if we scan right through the middle of this storm, some cloud tops are reaching about 40,000, 50,000 feet. So this is a very intense storm. Again, a tornado warning is out for this storm in Kent County in Delaware. It's still containing a lot of lightning, and this storm is again moving right near the Hartley area. Now it is again continuing to switch scenes, as you just saw as the radar scans across. So if any of these areas look familiar to you, Camden and Kent County and Delaware, Cheswold, Woodside, all these areas are right around where we are seeing the tornado warning at the moment. So again, we're continuing to watch this move through. If any of these streets sound familiar to you, if you are in this area in Kent County, near Hartley, near Camden, Westville Road is in the area, Hazlettville Road is in the area, Painter's Way is in the area, Bryan's Corner Road is in the area. So again, if you are here, you want to take cover if you have a basement. Otherwise, you want to get into an interior hallway or closet, a bathroom. You definitely want to stay away from windows. So don't be going outside at this hour in Kent County. This is a very strong, very dangerous storm. We're still seeing that hook shape to it. Hopefully it starts to lose intensity soon. Let's go back to the velocity scan, though. We're still seeing pretty good rotation. We're still seeing where red meets green, so we're going to keep watching this for you. Again, it is still moving through Kent County. It has a history of producing a lot of hail, and we're going to watch it mainly move to the southeast. So if I put this in motion for you, you can see the general direction, and in fact, the tornado warning has just been extended through Kent County. So basically, we don't expect it to weaken anytime soon. The tornado warning has been extended. It includes Rising Sun. It includes Riverview. And about 4:50, a funnel cloud was reported in Hartley, right where we saw that rotation. This is from the Weather Service. Some of the reports they're getting. So the storm is likely to produce a tornado, especially since we've already had reports of a funnel cloud. So it's moving to the southeast around 30 miles an hour. Hazletville around 5 o'clock this afternoon. Dover and Dover Speedway around 5:05. Woodside and Camden around 5:10. Bowers around 5:15. Let me track this for you so you can get a better idea of where it's headed. So it is going to the southeast in Kent County. Rising Sun around 5:08. Riverview 5:14. Frederica about 5:18. So again, this is a tornado warning if you're just tuning in to Kent County in Delaware. And it has been extended again through much of Kent County as it races towards our Delaware beaches. So if you are in this area, you really want to take precautions. You don't want to go outside. You want to stay away from windows, getting to a basement or an interior hallway or closet. This is a very strong storm, which is again capable of producing a tornado. We did have funnel cloud reports if you're just tuning in around Hartley, and this is the area where we are still seeing that rotation. So this is a very strong storm. It has a lot of rotation in it. It has the history of producing hail and funnel clouds. So again, that is Kent County in Delaware. We saw the tornado warning just get extended. I'll talk more about this coming up, but we'll talk more about the rest of the storms through the area right now.
All right, Brittany, I'm sorry, Sheena, while you follow that, we want to take you back into Pennsylvania. A picture here now from Exton, Chester County, where you see the hail still falling, not the size of the golf balls that we saw in West Reading, but certainly pea-sized shaped hail, which can do a lot of damage. This is in Exton, Chester County, where the hail has been coming down there for the past hour.
This is now in the West Reading area. I believe we have a second piece of video we want to show you now of the hail as it was coming down. Here it is. This is serious stuff here. This is the larger size hail that Glenn's been talking about. And let's just listen for a second to what it sounds like.
You would not want to be out there right now.
No, you would not.
All right, and from there we go back to Berks County, Pennsylvania, where it's, again, really coming down, not the size of what we saw in West Reading, but certainly enough. And then when you look at the visibility, and we talked to PennDOT just a short while ago, talking about the hazard out there on the roads, and you can see why this is such a problem. Again, the hail coming down hard in Berks County. This has been the past hour, and while Sheena has been monitoring some tornado action in Kent County, Delaware, hail really has been the issue in both Berks County as well as Chester County this afternoon, and will continue for the next several hours.
Something else we're keeping an eye on that's just coming into our assignment desk is the fact that the fire department is responding to a plane that's coming into the Philadelphia airport that apparently has a cracked windshield. What they don't know yet is whether that's the result of flying through this hailstorm. So our assignment desk working on that, and we have NBC 10's Harry Hairston on the way to check the details on that as well.
In the meanwhile, why don't we check back with Chief Meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz to give us the overview. Glenn.
Yeah, and sometimes that hail can be even bigger higher up and melts a little bit as it goes down toward the ground. So it's possible there could be even bigger hail up in the trajectory of where the jet aircraft is coming. And once again, we just have a handful of storms. They are very large and intense, and it's pretty rare in this part of the country, although this is the time of year where we tend to get severe weather, especially the latter portion of May and the beginning of June. This is our severe weather season. The unusual part, the size of the hail, and also that radar signature that Sheena was just showing. We rarely see anything like that in this part of the country because, generally speaking, you have to get a pretty strong circulation to see such a color difference on radar like that. And what happens, you saw those pictures up in Berks County with the hail pounding everything. That's what storm chasers drive into. And then they come out of it with all these dents in their cars, and sometimes their back windshield's blown out from the large hail. So hail can do a lot of damage if it's big enough and coming down hard enough. Now you can see these storms. Now this latest one Again, this is in northern Chester County. It's come through Berks County. Berks County conditions appear to be improving, but it's right across the Pennsylvania Turnpike in the same part of Chester County that's been hit probably twice before. And some extremely heavy rain right along that Pennsylvania Turnpike. That's not real good during rush hour. And then the other cell that has crossed Delaware County into New Jersey, Upper Pittsgrove Township, and also in the Glassboro area. So we'll continue to follow these storms.
And I'm First Alert meteorologist Brittany Ship. We are continuing to update you. This is a tornado warning that's still issued for central Kent County. You can see how strong these thunderstorms are here on the radar. This is going to stay in effect until 5:15. And funnel cloud, just to reiterate, this is from the National Weather Service. A funnel cloud was reported in Hartley. So if I take you in, I'll zoom you into exactly where that is. It's just to the west of Dover there. Here's Hartley. This was a webcam that I could find for you, so you can see the dark skies. It's really hard to make out a whole lot here, but we are definitely searching our extensive camera network to show you exactly what's happening so we can get a little bit of ground truth here. But the National Weather Service is keeping us up to date. And within some of these isolated severe thunderstorms, we are seeing pockets of hail. So this is a hail track here, and you can see it's moving to the southeast, and we've already seen golf ball sized hail. So we'll keep you updated on exactly where this very strong system is moving.
NBC 10 First Alert Weather breaking news.
It's hard to believe with that image. This is May, folks. Large hail pounding parts of the NBC 10 viewing area. This video, courtesy of the Reading Eagle, shows the hail battering West Reading. It actually looks like it's snowing out. That's how dense this hail is. And take a look at this now. Car windows shattered by the hail. This is one of several examples we've seen in the newsroom. This picture in particular, this is from Spring Township.
A tornado warning was issued in parts of Delaware about 30 minutes ago. First Alert Weather Technology is tracking the severe weather threat across our viewing area. Our First Alert team is here to keep you informed. 3 meteorologists on this.
That's right. We've been on nonstop so far. We begin with Chief Meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz. Glenn, where are the biggest threats right now? The way I understand it, there's a tornado warning down in Delaware, and then there's some severe storms pretty much around the entire area.
Yeah, there are only a few storms on the radar, but every one of them, it seems, has a history of producing large hail. And this one in central Delaware now, coming right over the Dover area, has had a history at least of funnel clouds reported by the public and a very strong rotation on radar, one of the strongest rotations that I've seen again in this part of the country, plus what we call the hook echo, where you can see the radar echoes themselves curving around. So there's several different indicators that this particular storm down near Dover was the strongest one. Now, it may not be quite as strong as it was 15 minutes ago, but it's still a pretty powerful one. We have another really strong one in Chester County. This one came down from Berks County, as has a couple of others. Right down the same path. You can see the circular nature of it, all the energy concentrated into this one storm that we would call a supercell. Doesn't have to compete with surrounding areas like you would if it was, let's say, a solid line of storms that was coming down. Here's the turnpike, the Pennsylvania Turnpike itself. And so the heaviest of the storm right on top of it, not as much lightning in that part of the storm, but we still have some back to the north. Now, another storm that crossed Delaware County into New Jersey, heading down toward Vineland right now. Here's the Atlantic City Expressway. So this is south of the Atlantic City Expressway and not likely to go across there. And so that continues to move to the southeast. A lot of lightning with that and probably a lot of hail with it. This is the cell going over Dover and down toward Riverview now, right through Kent County in Delaware. This is the one that had the strong signals for potential tornadoes that Sheena was showing you, and we'll go back to her in just a minute. The severe thunderstorm watch that covers basically the entire area, the northern part until 8 o'clock, the southern part until 10 o'clock. Now, we continue to get reports of the severe weather, but sometimes it takes a while for them to get reported to the National Weather Service. Now, every one of those blue dots is a report of large hail. So we've seen several of those, not only in Berks County, but now we've seen them in Chester County. There's southern Delaware County. There's one near Allentown. So we keep getting more and more reports on that. Now let's go to meteorologist Sheena Parveen, who has more on that specific storm, see if we still have the signature of a tornado there.
That's right, Glenn. We actually don't have as strong of a tornado signature on radar as we did about 15 minutes ago. However, we still do have the tornado warning up, and we still do have very strong winds in this storm. So this is Kent County, Delaware, that we are looking at. This is the area with the tornado warning that is still in effect. Now, the storm does not look as impressive as it did earlier, but we still have a lot of heavy rain right around Riverview. This is where the storm is moving into. This is where the warning got extended to. It includes Camden, Woodside, Magnolia, Bowers, Riverview, Felton. And if we zoom in even more, some of the main streets, Viola also included Berrytown Road, Fire Tower Road, Andrews Lake Road. We're also seeing Barrett's Chapel Road. If any of these roads sound familiar to you, if you are in the vicinity of these roads, you definitely want to stay indoors at this point and really stay away from windows. So now we'll go over to the velocity scan. This is where we show you rotation within the storm. At this point, what we're looking for is where red meets green. Now, the area of green does not look as impressive as it did about 15 minutes ago. So it's really this area of green that we're looking at. So again, it doesn't look as impressive, although we are still looking at some strong winds within this storm. So this is the area that we're watching for rotation. Now, if we were to see a stronger rotation within this storm, we would see more of a green color. But either way, we still do have at least some rotation in this storm. The storm has a history of producing a funnel cloud. That's what we saw earlier today. Let's take a look at the velocity scan. This is the same storm with the tornado warning out. It is a very strong storm. The reason why I'm showing you this is to show you how high the storm is. It goes up to about 40,000 feet at some points. You see part of the storm almost hanging off on the left side. So that indicates that we could still see a storm capable of producing a tornado. Again, the storm does have a history of producing funnel clouds in the Kent County area, and so that is something that we're also watching here. Again, I'll zoom in into Kent County. Near Hartley is actually where we saw a report of a funnel cloud around 4:50 this afternoon, so not too long ago. The storm is still very strong. It's still producing very high winds, heavy rain, even hail, and also a lot of lightning within the storm as well. So if I turn the lightning on, you can see all the lightning now showing up on the screen. Rising Sun, Dover, Riverview, all the lightning is in this area combined with the strong wind and also the heavy rain. So again, this is a storm where you do not want to go outside until it passes. At this point, we're seeing some of the strongest wind and the strongest rain around Woodside, Riverview, Viola, Magnolia, and also again some of the roads I'll mention: Peachtree Run Road, Andrews Lake Road, Berrytown Road, and this is all in the Kent County area. If you're near any of these roads, you want to again stay inside. Stay away from windows. If you have a basement, head into your basement, or if you don't, go into an interior hallway or closet somewhere again away from windows. But the tornado warning is still up for Kent County, and we're still watching the storm move to the southeast. We'll take a look at the velocity scan again. The rotation does not look nearly as impressive as it did earlier, but that does not mean that the storm is not capable of producing some strong winds and also possibly some more funnel clouds. But again, here's the scan of the storm. If you missed it earlier, this is a very strong storm. The higher up the storm goes, the colder the storm top is, and the higher chance it has of producing hail. We've had a lot of reports of hail across the area so far this afternoon, and this storm is certainly one of them, producing golf ball sized hail. So again, in Kent County, Delaware, if you've missed it, the storm appears as though it's losing a lot of its rotation. It's losing a lot of the tornado signature that we saw in the storm earlier this afternoon. But again, there's still some very heavy rain. Right over Riverview is where we have some of the heaviest rain and also some of the best chances for seeing some of the largest hail. As the storm continues moving to the southeast around 30 miles an hour, we'll watch it move off towards our Delaware beaches, Slaughter beaches in the track of the storm, also Milford in Delaware. So within the next, I would say 15 to 20 minutes, we should start to see this storm leave Kent County and leave Delaware. It's moving pretty quickly at this point, but of course we'll keep tracking it for you. So coming up, we'll take a look at some more storms across the area and how it's going to play into the rest of your evening.
Yeah, Sheena, we are not out of the woods yet, and we're talking about large size hail, the size of golf balls. We've seen countless examples of that, Jackie. One thing we're also talking about is the track of this hail all over.
Let's go to Brittany Ship.
That's right. It's embedded in the severe thunderstorms that we're seeing. So Sheena did a great job breaking down just this one cell here that's moving through Dover, just moved through Hartley. But there's also all these other pop-up showers that are producing hail, really strong winds, capable of producing wind speeds up to 60 miles per hour. Those winds can be damaging, so is the hail, but we're also monitoring the tornado warning that's going to stay in effect for parts of Kent County until 5:15. So if we take a closer look, we did get reports of a thundercloud that was right outside of Hartley. This is one of the webcams. It is a little bit fuzzy, so it's really hard to make out, but we were able to at least find you a camera here just outside of Hartley, Delaware. If we take a closer look now, so what I did was I removed the radar, and now we're taking a closer look at the hail track. So this isn't rain, this is actually hail embedded within some of these thunderstorms. You can see they're tracking here to the southeast. So right now they're moving out of Reading. We got reports of golf ball sized hail earlier just to the south of Reading. We're also getting reports here moving just south of the 495 there, but we did see reports the hail size close to 2 inches. And then if we take a closer look just right outside of Downingtown, that's where we're starting to see a little bit more of the hail at this time. But a closer look, you know, this storm is moving so fast. You set the radar at one shot, but the radar keeps moving here because the storm continues to track to the southeast, moving right around 30 miles an hour. But we still got reports of hail size within just to the south of, or just to the north here of Woolridge, 2.3 inches. So that's an impressive size hail. So this is something that we continue to monitor for you just because these are capable of producing lots of damage here. So this is another one that we're watching. It's just moving into Riverview and then just to the north here of Harrington. A lot of folks are on the roads right now trying to get an early start on Memorial Day. So the timing of this storm is really unfortunate with a lot of people on the roads, and it's also producing hail, really strong wind speed. So this is something that we're going to keep watching. But again, this is the hail track and it continues to move to the southeast. So it's possible that this next batch is going to move into parts of Milford, or even Millville could be up next with this batch. So it's isolated in nature, but where we are seeing some of the activity, it is potentially severe with, again, wind speeds closer to 60 miles per hour, hail sizes close to 2 inches in diameter, and then again, a tornado warning that is in effect for the southern parts of Kent County. That's staying in effect at least until 5:15. So we have about 5 more minutes left on that tornado warning unless the National Weather Service extends that. But this is something that we're monitoring for you. But for now, we'll send it over to Glenn Hurricane Schwartz with a closer look at where some of the most severe weather is right now.
All right, Brittany, thank you for that. We will have Glenn in just a moment. Take a look at this picture, though. We just want to show you some of the damage that has been done because of this large hail that Brittany described. This is at the Berkshire Mall in Wyomissing. You can see just how much damage that did crashing through. The hail scattered all over. We had heard reports of 1.5 inches in size. Brittany reporting that sometimes it's up to 2 inches inside, so a lot of damage. And we know that PennDOT was saying that they would have to bring out the plows potentially because the hail was so large to clear it out of the space.
That's the first in the month of May, as so many people are prepared to head out to visit family in the Memorial Day holiday. One thing we want to mention, Jim Rosenfield mentioned this before we went on it here, that a U.S. Airways flight bound from Florida had a cracked windshield, that fire crews were out there as it landed. Our update for you that it did have a cracked windshield. It landed safely. There were no injuries. The airport is now checking out the damage, and they do say it may have been from hail, which is a good segue then to talk to Chief Meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz, who continues to monitor the entire area. Glenn.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing to get hail this size and this intensity in this part of the country. It's extremely unusual. Now, I've seen pictures of hail just in the last few days. Denver has had many inches of it that they've had to get plowed. But that happens regularly out there. I was back there decades ago and saw one of those storms. There was a report in South America. I actually saw, you know, you build a snowman. They had enough hail to build a hail man. So this is the week of hail, I'll tell you that. And we don't get it like this around this part of the country. I certainly haven't seen it. Now, this is the storm that Sheena's been following. They had the tornado warning. It's starting to spread out a little bit here, losing its concentration. It's still a nasty, nasty storm. Look at all the lightning strikes here. And the heaviest of it just going over Milford now. You can see how fast it's moving. This is just in 1 hour how it has raced through much of Kent County. The tornado warning still technically in effect, but I also want to show you that we have dry air back to the west that is coming into Berks County now. and eventually will be coming down into Chester County. Those two counties have been just crushed over the last 2 or 3 hours. It's just been amazing. This cell coming into Delaware County, that's another one. It's just one after another coming through Berks, Chester, Delaware County, and then crossing the river into New Jersey. But look at the drier air in much of Berks County and Schuylkill County to the north and west. That is good news because things are going to be improving from the northwest. We just have to get these 4 thunderstorms out of here, and then we'll be in better shape for the evening. The severe thunderstorm watch overall continues till 8 o'clock in the northern areas, 10 o'clock into the southern areas, but they could be trimmed once those thunderstorms move through. Now, all of those blue dots are official reports of large hail. Again, extremely rare. We started off with the reports in Berks County and reports of accumulation of hail. That storm moved into Chester County, produced large hail there, moved into southern Delaware County, reports there, and then Gloucester County. It's just a complete history. And we've got a couple reports in the Poconos, one around the Allentown area as well. So we want to give you a complete picture of this. There are some parts of the area that haven't even had any rain this afternoon, let alone any kind of threat of severe weather. That's what happens when you get storms at this time of the year that are not organized into lines where all of the energy can go into those individual storms. Some people get crushed and others get nothing at all. Now let's go over to my colleague NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Sheena Parveen, who showed you a classic tornado circulation with that tornado warned cell just a little while ago. One of the most impressive signatures that I've seen.
Yeah, especially in this area, Glenn. So again, Kent County in Delaware around 4:50 this afternoon near Hartley, a funnel cloud was reported. And I will say at this time, the tornado warning has been expired through the area. We're not seeing the signature that we saw earlier on radar of a possible tornado. So right now we're looking down on a storm, which is still considered severe, still winds along 60 miles an hour, just not the type of rotation you would need for a tornado warning at this point. So around Riverview, we have some very heavy rain shown by this pink color, Milford, Slaughter Beach. This is all heading offshore, and it will be nearing the Delaware beaches very soon here. So if we zoom in, you can start to see some of the intersections where this storm is moving through. Again, this was the one that did have a tornado warning out. The tornado warning is now expired. It's now a severe thunderstorm warning. Carpenter Bridge Road, Bauman Road, Big Stone Beach Road, all these areas are pretty much in the path of still a strong storm, which still is producing hail. So now I just put on an area where we could be seeing some strong hail as I query it. Hail size about 1.7 inches. That's diameter. We could be still seeing some very strong hail within this storm. So this is one thing we will keep watching. Now let's look at the velocity scan. This is what we showed you earlier to show you rotation. We're not seeing that signature tornado rotation that we saw earlier today. So right now we're basically seeing just a thunderstorm, which is still very strong, still on the severe side, still capable of producing very damaging winds, which we do expect right now. Here's a 3D scan of this exact storm. So it is still a pretty tall storm. Take a look at this view here, going up to about 40,000, 45,000 feet. This means that this storm has a very high top, which means basically that it gets colder as it goes up, the higher chance of it producing hail and the higher chance of it producing very big hail, which is what we basically have been seeing, hail around 1.5 inches. So on this scan, you can really cut through the center of the storm. You can see the size of the storm. You can see how high it goes up. So this is still a very strong storm. Even though we don't have the tornado warning out anymore for Kent County, we are still looking at a storm capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour winds. Hail size here has just gone up to an estimated 2 inches in diameter. So we'll continue watching this as it moves through parts of Kent County. So again, very strong hail with this storm, and we're going to keep watching this as we go through the next few minutes or so. Let's take a loop loop of this storm. So here you can see where we have the warning out. It is still for parts of Kent County. And if I zoom out, you can see the direction of the storm. It's heading to the southeast around 30 miles an hour, and it will be moving into parts of Sussex County here very soon. So some of the Delaware beaches are included in this warned area. So as we track this storm for you heading to the southeast, again, no longer tornado warning, but still a strong storm, a severe thunderstorm warning. Milford by about 5:18. So basically right now, Milton 5:37, Lewis, Delaware 5:49. So it will get closer to the Delaware beaches in Sussex County as we end out the 5 o'clock hour. But again, a strong storm, hail, lightning, heavy rain, damaging winds. This is what we're basically seeing across the area right now with all the storms. And this is why we are still in a severe thunderstorm watch. It means we have the potential of seeing severe storms, which could have damaging winds as we go through the rest of this evening. So we'll keep showing you these storms. We'll keep tracking them. And of course, what the rest of your evening looks like.
Yeah, and a good example of that, if you take a look at Philly International Airport, imagine being there. Fire crews were investigating the fact that the windshield of a plane was cracked, and it may be because of hail. Now, that was landing from Orlando at the airport. Fire crews were on that scene. We just heard from the airport. We want to reiterate this again, that the plane's windshield, yes, was cracked. There were no injuries. They made a safe landing. Right now, they're trying to determine whether or not that windshield was cracked due to all the hail around the area. Again, the hail ranging in from a couple millimeters, centimeters to 2 inches in diameter.
Exactly, and it was a U.S. Airways Flight 768 from Orlando, an Airbus 320, but good to hear that there were no injuries due to that cracked windshield. We do want to show you some other videos of this extreme weather we're having right now. Just take a look at some of that hail coming down, just how heavy it is. We talked about the size of it, up to 2 inches in diameter, and you can see that, you can hear it in an up-close shot right there on the windshield. And a lot of this hail that's hitting the windshields, we've seen many cracked windows as a result of it because it was coming down so hard and so fast. And many people were talking about not only the intensity of it, look at that intensity right there, coming down so strongly. And as you said, Keith, it looks like snow.
Yeah,
this does not look like hail by any means.
This is up in West Reading. You can see that the hail is pounding the street there, is pounding cars. You want to be able to get inside if you see anything like this. Obviously, common sense leads to that, but you want to make sure your cars are also covered.
And they talked about the intensity of it, which you can hear, but also the length of this hailstorm. For it to continue for such an extended period of time is something that is rare and that we don't often see, particularly this time of year.
We have 3 meteorologists here in the studio with us. We have 5 reporters in the worst of these storms that we're tracking. And with the threat of severe weather, you can get important weather updates, weather information delivered right to your smartphone or tablet anytime with the NBC 10 weather app. On a day like today, it's a perfect time to use it. It's a free download that you can get right now. It's on our website, NBC10.com.